I'm Todd Dunn, and today I'm aboard my Allied 36 Sequester. We've just been out sailing for the afternoon and have picked up a town guest mooring at Islesford Harbor on Little Cranberry Island. Here's the view from the mooring, and we're on the only occupied town guest mooring. There's the town docks over there. It's pretty quiet. The restaurant is not open yet. According to their website, they open on the 15th. So it's pretty quiet in here. And this is Saturday, so tomorrow morning it should be relatively peaceful because most of the lobstermen don't fish on Sunday. And this is what makes this area a good spot to hang. There's Mount Desert Island astern. The wind is blowing pretty good out here right now, probably up around 15 knots. But when we got here to pick up the mooring, it was much less. That's looking back towards Southwest Harbor. That's Great Cranberry Island, close by. So we're a ways out from the Little Cranberry dock, but if we hadn't brought the dinghy, we could have gone ashore. Now these moorings are free, so if you want to come and visit the Cranberries, there are, I believe, 3 here at Little Cranberry and 2 or 3 at Great Cranberry. The view isn't as nice from Great Cranberry as it is from here. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. It's a little windier here, but Great Cranberry tends to be kind of a rolling mooring because every boat that's going east-west into Great Harbor is going to go by you. So it tends to be kind of lumpy over there. At least the couple of times we've stayed there it was. And here, unless you're staying any night other than Saturday night, it can be a little lumpy in the morning when every lobster boat here seems to motor by about an inch away from you. And that's what it feels like anyway. They don't actually come in. Yeah, and they leave pretty early, so it can wake you up at around 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, just wanted to show you where we're going to spend our Saturday night, hanging on a mooring here, putting up with the view of Mount Desert Island from Islesford Harbor on Little Cranberry Island. Okay, I'll come back a little while from now and we'll take a look at the sunset. It should be over that way, and there's enough clouds it might be a little bit colorful tonight. The wind is supposed to calm down out here, and it's supposed to be quite peaceful tonight and tomorrow morning. We'll probably end up motoring back. If it's a typical morning, it's probably going to be pretty much flat calm here. So most likely we'll motor back. It's only about 3.5 miles over to the marina in Southwest Harbor. So about a 40-minute engine run from here will have us tied up at the marina again. And if there is some wind, we can always set sail and have a pleasant sail back. It's almost straight west to Southwest Harbor from here, and tomorrow morning the wind is supposed to be south. So we might be able to have a very pleasant beam reach back to Southwest Harbor if the wind cooperates. But normally out here in the Great Harbor of Mount Desert Island, there's almost no wind in the morning, and we've stayed over here quite a few times over the last 20 some years, and it has almost always required motoring back. Anyway, as I said, I'll come back and we'll have a look at the sunset in a couple of hours. Well, there's the sun setting just north of Southwest Harbor. It's calmed down a lot, not much wind. As we pan around, there are the main hills of Mount Desert Island, and here is Islesford Harbor on Little Cranberry. And as you can see, the wind is almost completely gone. And over here, I don't know if you can see it, is the moon up there. It cleared off nicely. It was quite overcast earlier. And a little more of the sunset in the distance over there. Oh, nice colors. The boat is gone. Wind is gone. Well, I think it's west. It's hard to say. Well, actually the wind is sort of more south than anything, but the boat is pointing west. Sunset is a bit north of due west. Very pretty out here. The boat is rolling a little bit because we've swung so that we're no longer bow into the waves. And it's fairly dark over toward the main part of Mount Desert Island. Main view here, and there are 2 sailboats in the harbor now other than us, and just a couple of other pleasure boats, mostly lobster boats. I don't know if you can hear it, but we're being sort of serenaded by gulls. We'll go back to the sunset. It's quite a colorful sunset tonight. So it was worth coming over here. We're only a little over 3 miles from Southwest Harbor, but we took the long way, and we sailed around for nearly 10 miles to get here. But there was quite a bit of wind this afternoon, and we hit 7.1 knots while we were underway, which is fairly fast for this old full keel boat. Well, I think I'm gonna end this now, because the bugs are starting to come out. So we'll take a look at the harbor in the morning before we head back over to Southwest Harbor. It's supposed to maybe rain tomorrow afternoon, so we want to get a, well, not super early start, but a reasonably early start, and make the arduous 3.5 mile trek back to the Great Harbor Marina. Yeah, it's 7 a.m. in Islesford, Maine, looking toward Great Cranberry Island. Last night there were only 3 lights visible on Great Cranberry, so very, very few people are over there now. And this is Little Cranberry. As you can see, it's flat calm. I have to raise this up a little. And here's the view of Islesford Harbor, the town dock over there. And this is sort of typical for morning, that there's very, very little wind. There's just a tiny hint of wind today. So there are the hills of Mount Desert Island, Sutton Island, and looking west toward Southwest Harbor. And hopefully by the time we finish breakfast and are ready to get underway, there'll be a little breeze and we will be able to sail back, as opposed to if we leave right away, we will obviously be motoring back. I would very much prefer to sail, although given the proximity of this boat on the next mooring, we probably will have to motor off the mooring for a little bit just to get out into clear water. But as you can see, we're right at the edge of the mooring field, so it shouldn't be any problem moving away so that we can get under sail. Okay, time to go have breakfast. Well, yeah, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm just started the diesel engine because, as you can see, it's still pretty much flat calm. So we're gonna motor back, so I'm gonna go up, drop the mooring, and we'll get underway. So just walk up to the bow and drop the mooring. I have already rigged the boat for the marina. I've put the bow and stern lines on and led them aft, so they're for the bow line and forward for the stern line, so I can step out of the gate and be ready to go. And coming in are the first two water taxis of the morning from Northeast Harbor and Southwest Harbor via Great Cranberry, respectively. Okay, here's the mooring line. These guest moorings here have stout mooring lines, and unless you have pretty big cleats, you may find it necessary to run your own line through these mooring lines. Okay, I'll just get down here, take this off the cleat, and we're underway. Incidentally, these lines have a little lobster buoy float tied to the end that you have to snag with your boat hook to pick the mooring up. Okay, just gonna walk back and get underway. There is a very light breeze, but this would have us sailing back at like 1 to 2 knots. And my wife wants to get back a little more quickly. Okay, just look, there's the mooring, so don't have to worry about clearing it. We currently have 24 feet of water. Well, here we are underway. We're about 4 or 5 minutes out of Islesford. As you can see, there's definitely not enough wind to sail. This is typical of early morning here on the Maine coast. In the summer, there's often very little wind until about 10 or 11. So it's about 8 o'clock now, and we're probably going to make it back to Southwest Harbor, which is right up there. You can see the buildings on the shore in the distance before the wind comes up noticeably. And there's Great Cranberry Island. And if we look the other way, we're losing the great view of Mount Desert Island that you have from Islesford Harbor already, even though we're only about 3/8 of a mile from Islesford Harbor. And there's Sequester's Wake, typical of a wake of a displacement hull at low speed. We're running at about 4 knots. And there's Sutton Island. There's our course. There's almost no lobster gear out here, which makes motoring along quite nice. Don't have to worry about it. And I think I've passed 2 lobster traps so far. A little later in the season, by mid-July, there would be several thousand lobster traps in here, and you'd be basically threading the needle between floats. And over here, I don't know if you can pick it out, there is a day mark that's at the end of a ledge, and and that's the only hazard on the way back. We need to leave that about 100 feet to port. Okay, I'll pick this up again a little later. Okay, there's that day mark I mentioned. Apparently it's acting as a seagull perch. And there is Great Cranberry Harbor. Now there are at least 2 town guest moorings there. The view isn't as good. I'll show you what it looks like. Here's the view from Great Cranberry, looking north and looking over toward the entrance to Somme Sound. So this harbor is much more wide open, and every boat that passes leaves a wake, and the guest moorings are the outermost moorings, and they are pretty rolly. We have stayed there, but it's not the most comfortable place because there's water taxi traffic and everything, and private boats going by usually till about 10 o'clock at night. So while you're having dinner, you have to hang on to your plate and glass to keep them from sliding around and potentially off of the table. So, Great Cranberry Harbor. Basically no pleasure boats over there yet. It's all lobster boats. This is Sunday morning, so the lobster fishermen are not out, which was one of the things that was a factor in choosing to go to Islesford, which has a fairly substantial lobstering fleet, 25 boats or so. And if you're over there on a weekday night, they're all going to fire up and leave about 5 o'clock in the morning. And that is going to result in noise, and also as they leave, they create wakes, and it feels like they're passing within inches of you. They aren't, of course, but you get hit by wake after wake after wake, which will almost invariably make you decide it's time to get up, even though it's only 5 or 6 a.m. We're just about to go past the west end of Sutton Island over there, and in a couple minutes we'll be able to see into Northeast Harbor and also see Bear Island. Now engine had warmed up, so I pumped it up to 1400 RPMs. Our Westerbeek 46 is turning a 13.3 inch pitch 3-blade fixed prop via a 2-to-1 ratio transmission. So that's giving us about 700 propeller RPMs, and that's pushing us at 5.9 knots out here on flat water. And right now we're probably consuming around half a gallon an hour of diesel, and it's going to take us a little over half an hour to get back. So this motor trip here is going to cost about $3 given the current price of diesel where I buy it. As we come in, you can just start to see some of the boats in Northeast Harbor over there, and in just a minute Bear Island and Bear Island Lighthouse are going to come into view around the west end of Sutton Island. Okay, Bear Island Lighthouse just came into view. The white building just at the tip, what appears to be the tip of Sutton Island. But it's actually about 3/4 of a mile further north on Bear Island. So we're going to continue motoring back, and as you can see, it is flat calm out here. Well, here we are coming into Southwest Harbor. The outer moorings here, sorry about the noise of the lobster boat heading out. The outer moorings here belong to the Hinckley Company, and the moorings are occupied this time of year almost exclusively by their service boats that they have launched and are still rigging up, or have rigged up and are waiting for the people to pick them up or to have them delivered. So it's a mix of Morrises. That's a Morris right there. And Hinkleys. There's a Hinkley. And there's even a Mason out here. And there may even be a Sabre, although so far all I see is Morris. Well, yeah, I think there is a Sabre. Over there, that boat that just came into the view is a Sabre. And this looks like a Hinkley Southwester 42 with a stowaway mast. And the odd power boat out here. And there's a Bermuda 40, that smaller boat over there, the yawl. Southwester 42. So yeah, it looks like there's even a Concordia yawl over there, the white-hulled boat. So this is typical. These boats will gradually disappear as the season gets going and they are delivered to their owners. As we head in, here's another Bermuda 40 right here. And right behind it, we have a Hinkley Southwester 50, which is basically a Bermuda 40 on steroids. A great big, ocean-capable, full-keel centerboard boat. And then over there is a Hinkley jet boat. I think that's a 48. And a few other smaller Hinkleys. There's a Pilot right ahead of the jet boat. Pilot 35. And right up here, there's a fairly large power boat. I do not know who built it. It looks like a lobster yacht based on the hull form. And here, we're coming up on the final boat in the Hinkley mooring field. And this is a Morris M42. You'll see it better when we go past. Right here, this is a Sparkman and Stevens design, built by Morris Yachts. This was probably built in their facility at Trenton before Hinkley bought it. So Hinkley owns Morris Yachts now, and they aren't really building any boats anymore. Now we're into the rest of the mooring field, which you can see is quite a bit emptier because a lot of people's boats aren't in yet. So I'm gonna motor up and we'll go into the marina. Well, it's 8:45 in the morning and we just tied up at the marina. The light air makes coming into the dock very easy. And we're next to our neighbor. We've got about 7 feet between the two boats. And there's the view out from our slip. And we have a sort of northeast wind in here, but it's very light. There's the view looking aft from the boat. So I hope you enjoyed our little trip over to Islesford on Little Cranberry Island, where we spent the night last night, and our cruise back under power this morning, which, as I said, is totally typical of maneuvering a sailboat early in the morning here on the coast of Maine. In a couple hours there'll probably be enough wind to sail, but it's not going to be strong. I think we're supposed to get up to about 7 to 8 knots today. And later today, although it doesn't look like it now, it's supposed to start raining. So that's why we came back early. Okay, that's that. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And why don't you consider subscribing to my channel to see more content like this.